Welcome to another episode of the Our Esquina Baseball Show. Today, we are going to be talking about free agents that are going to be
Mm.
signing in different teams. Of course, baseball winter meetings is just in less than a week away. Some big names are already off the board, but the biggest name, which is probably Juan Soto, or it could be Gleyber Torres, whichever one you think is bigger, will be going soon. And then after that, everybody else goes. So we're gonna try to figure out which teams we're gonna predict who's gonna go where. We could start off with naming the players that's already off the board, like Blake Snell, Dodgers, 5 years, 182 million. Guys, what do y'all think of
That
that move?
deferred money. That deferred
Deferred.
money.
So I have a question for you guys based on, Blake Snell. So last
Mm.
year we feel like, or I feel like Yamamoto might have set that the biggest pitcher contract. So he kind of set that standard for like pitchers. Do you think Blake Snell sets the standard market kind of like last year's Yamamoto did with his record breaking contract?
Is his contract right now the biggest contract for a pitcher or no?
No, but it's just like him getting his payday with the Dodgers with some deferred money. Do we see him setting like the standard for this offseason of like pitchers? Or like do you think he's the stone that gets it turning? Or does he even matter? You know what I mean? Like, is he just like a pitcher that got his payday? Next one.
I mean, I'm happy for him. Just kind of, when you play with the Rays for so long and you're in a small
Yeah.
market team and now you're in a larger market, and good for him because he's that kind of pitcher. But he has two? Does he have two no-hitters? I'm trying to think about off the top of my head how many no-hitters he has. I don't know if he sets the market, but I think what the Dodgers are doing, people want to hate on. I think it's extremely smart, you know. And was it Max Muncy? I think he said on Foul Territory, like, don't even try competing for the next 6 years because basically the Dodgers are going to rule baseball, which I can definitely see. Like, I don't know how many teams can really challenge them in the NL. Maybe the Phillies. I don't know. Depends on what they do. I know they're shopping a couple players right now. I saw that. But I don't know who really can compete with the Dodgers in the NL. Maybe the Padres if they can get a couple more pieces. I know they're trying to get that Japanese star, which might happen, but I don't know. I think what they're doing is really smart. They're deferring money, and everyone's acting like it's some big scandal. It's really not. It's just very smart business, and they're just mad that their owners are cheap. I mean, I wish the A's largest contract wasn't Severino. I wish we spent more money than that when that's like a typical contract or a low end
Yeah.
contract for like the Yankees or the
Right.
Dodgers or the
It's
Phillies. But for
typical.
us, it's like, whoa, that's the biggest contract ever. But I think what they're doing is really smart, and I think more teams are going to start doing this soon. Actually, smart teams will start doing that soon.
Do you think
But
it happens next year? Do you think it
I,
happens
I
two
think it's going
years
to
from
happen
now?
this year.
What do you
I think
think?
it's going to happen this year. I think
Mhm.
you'll see some of these contracts, and they're going to start having deferred money because players know, like, they're building a super team or whatever. But if you're the Phillies, like if you're Bryce Harper, or if you're someone who wants to play with Bryce Harper and all those guys there, because they have really good pitchers, they have a ton of talent. I mean, you can go there, defer money,
Mhm.
because you're still going to get paid, right? And you're taking less to go on a team that has a chance to win. The Dodgers can only have so many players. Eventually
Yeah.
people need to go on other teams.
right.
And I think the Phillies, they can't take everybody. You have to have 26 guys who are active on the roster. They can't
Right.
have everybody, So some of these top guys that we're even looking at, I could see them taking some deferred contracts just so they can get on a good team and, have a chance to compete um, with the Dodgers.
Yeah. I mean, it's a smart move. Like you said, I think everybody's
Yeah.
just jealous at this point. I hate to use that
Yeah.
word, but it's true
It, it's
because
it, it's
in
absolutely true.
Yeah, the Dodgers just won the World Series, and then you're adding a guy that's won two, I think two Cy Youngs, if I'm not mistaken, at least one for sure. Like you said, the no hitter. I think what Blake Snell wants too is to win a World Series. He was so close in 2020 with the
That's what he's
Rays.
missing.
Everybody, yeah, everybody's remembered the infamous Kevin Cash
Yep.
going to the mound and getting that ball
Yeah.
from him. I want to say in the sixth or seventh inning, and obviously you saw Blake Snell's face. It was just pissed, like he just couldn't believe it happened. But he even mentioned there too, like he's pitched to these guys. Of course, shit, he's been bouncing from San Francisco. He bounced in San Diego. I mean, he's been in the NL West. He's pretty much close to the Diamondbacks and Rockies pretty soon if he really wanted to. But contract wise, as we're talking, smart on the Dodgers. I do think this will continue on, but I will be interested to see if the league does something about this, trying to put a hold on this because I'm pretty sure some owners aren't happy about it. But like Francisco said, I mean, shit, Dodgers are just one step ahead of everybody right now.
Yeah.
Right. But do you think it comes back in like 10 years? You know what I mean? Like what's going to happen in 10 years when
I don't think the Dodgers. I don't think they care about that right now. They're just thinking they
They're
have a
winning now.
window.
right now
Mhm.
they want to
They have a
win now?
window. They have a 7 to 10 year window of just like a lot of their stars are still young, right?
Mhm.
So I think they'll be fine. I think other teams are going to start doing it. The only thing I can see them do is maybe put an MLB salary floor, which I know a lot of people have talked about. A lot of teams or a lot of owners like the Rays, the A's, small market teams. They're not really a big fan of that, but I think all the fans would agree that if we can get a ceiling or sorry a floor, like you got to reach this level of spending. You can't just have like a 30,000 or $30 million salary. Oakland A's or whatever they had like 50,000, 50 mil or something.
And
But
just to
also
add on to that, it just showed right here in this World Series that spending does do a lot to get your team into the Fall Classic. They, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Will Smith. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, but the list goes on. Shohei Ohtani, then Aaron Judge. Obviously, Juan Soto was a trade piece, but he's going to get paid soon. I mean,
Yeah.
it just showed right there. Garrett Cole. I mean, I could go on with the list. It shows that spending does matter if your team wants to get to the mountaintop, and that's what the Dodgers are just continuously doing right now.
Yeah. Not only do they spend, they draft well and they develop well. Like
Develop well.
they have so
Yes.
much young.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have some. Their
Absolutely.
farm system is still a top farm system, which is
Mhm.
crazy. Because they have all these, I don't know if they're going to even have room for them in like 4 or 5 years from now. We can talk about Severino. He went to the A's, 3 years, 67 million. The Oakland A's largest contract. Shouldn't say Oakland. The A's largest contract since I think 2005 when they signed Eric Chavez to a big deal back then. Even then, it wasn't the hugest deal, but for for A's standards, that was still a very large contract. What do you think about that? What do you thoughts about Luis Severino? Did the Mets miss out on him?
it's interesting that that's their biggest contract because if you just think about the Astros who signed Josh Hader as their closer last year, was it like 5 years, 96 million? Like that is crazy. But then that goes back into what we're just talking about, like putting the floor, because that also kind of goes in tandem to like if you're thinking about it on a human level, are these players getting paid fairly for what they're putting into their work? Because the average person cannot throw a ball 90 miles an hour, let's face it. Like 100 miles an hour, you can't do that. That's not what the average person is going to do. So you need to pay these guys fairly. And I just think about a couple years ago when they literally went on strike and these guys need to be paid fairly, and for that to be your biggest contract is a little um what's the right word for it? Astonishing.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, two to say where the Oakland A's have been through these years. I mean, the playoff runs that they've had, and not to sign one of those players from them playoff runs is insane. You traded away Matt Olson, Matt Chapman, Marcus Simeon. I mean, they've had a list of great freaking players on their roster, but they just, I don't know if to say the word cheap, but they just don't spin and they don't extend on the guys like that. I mean, they have the potential. They've showed it. I mean, Matt Olson just what 2 years ago in 22 or 23, coming off 40 home runs. Matt Chapman, of course, being a Gold Glove, Platinum Glove winner. Marcus Simeon, World Series champion now. So they have the talent. Is just yeah, it's very that's the right word. It's astonishing that the A's. This is Luis Severino is the biggest guy, the biggest contract in this franchise. Is just
Yeah.
astonishing.
So at this point just
Well,
build on
you
it.
talked about Matt Chapman. You talk about Marcus Simeon. The A's had all of them.
Exactly.
They had they had a 2 or 3 year stretch of making it to the first round, making it to the playoffs, getting bounced in the first round, whatever. But they had a really good stretch. All they had to do was sign maybe a pitcher, sign another reliever, another bat, and they'd have a continuous stretch of just good teams. But instead, they trade off Simeon, they trade off Chapman, they trade off their catcher, they trade
Sean
off
Murphy.
everybody, right? Sean
Sean
Murphy, they're just getting rid of
Murphy.
everybody.
Got him
what
up
what is
here.
what they do, right? And then also what they do is they have a 3 or 4 year stretch of just average to below average baseball. They reload their farm system after a couple of trades, and then they're back in the postseason for another 3 or 4 years runs, right? They're going to do another 3 or 4 year run of being in the postseason. I think that might even start this season. I think they might be a sneaky good team, and then once they get expensive, we'll see if the owner does anything different this time, right? They're going to be in Vegas, supposedly, right? I mean, we'll see what happens. Maybe this is the year they keep all those guys.
If you think about it, like look at the AL West. It's up for grabs. And the way that the
Yeah.
Astros are moving this offseason as well in the winter, AL West is 100% up for
Mhm.
grabs. So if you're going
Yeah,
out there and if you're going out there and giving them your biggest contract, I think that also shows that you want to be a contender. It might not be what we think the biggest, but if it's the biggest for you, it means you're spending in your eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aroldis Chapman to the Red Sox. I forget he's still pitching sometimes. I'm not even going to lie.
And it's
I feel like
heat.
every year
It's
he gets the
pure
1 year
heat.
deal. Erratic, pure erratic heat. Like he's throwing gas, but like it's not always going to where it needs to go.
I mean, what 104? You think you want to stand in the box going against 104 miles per hour?
He's getting old and he's not always consistent on where he's throwing the ball. So we'll see
I
how
mean,
that
he
ends
didn't
up
have a
being.
bad season last year, though. He did not. Even with when he was pitching with the Rangers too. If you take away what in the 8th inning or the 9th inning, sometimes he was kind of pitching in some situations. But other than that, I mean, he still pitched really good. He
How many
still
teams has he been
has
with?
enough in the tank.
Let's name all the teams that Aroldis Chapman has played on. All right, Emily, you're gonna give us make sure we're up. We're correcting everything. All right,
Pulling
what do you think? What do you got, Lorenzo?
Okay,
So I got
got it.
Pull up
Pirates,
his baseball reference.
baseball
Yeah,
reference.
I literally did pull that baseball reference. Okay.
All right, there we go. All right,
Okay,
you got
so
Pirates.
Pirates, Yankees, Reds,
Yep.
Royals,
Yep.
Rangers, and then
I
Boston.
forgot he was even on the Rangers.
You're missing one.
Was he with Atlanta? No, he's not with Atlanta.
I got 6.
What division?
It is when
Emily, what division?
when he played with them, it was like it changed divisions. National League. He's in the
What year?
National League.
Cubs,
2026.
Cubs,
Yes,
yeah.
he played with the Cubs. Yeah, you got them all
2016. 2016.
2026? Are you projecting?
No.
because he played with 2 teams in 2026. The Yankees, the Cubs, and then 2017 he was back with the Yankees through 2022.
Wow.
When he then went to in 2023, he played with the Royals, the Rangers, got his ring, and now he is where he is. Well, he played Pittsburgh, and then now he's with. That's crazy. That's
Ladies
crazy.
and gentlemen, she's meaning 2016. Not
Oh, did I say that?
2026. You kept saying 2026 in full confidence. You said 2026 and then
Say it with your
2022. I was
chest.
like, oh, okay,
I'm
she's
thinking
going
about the World
26,
Baseball Classic,
22.
y'all. I'm already thinking about it.
I'm sure he'll be there. That's gonna be exciting too.
Carlos Mendoza's son posted on
Yeah.
TikTok of Juan Soto playing catch pretty much with Francisco Lindor. So
So do we think it's 15 years, 700 million? Because I think that's what he had put on there.
It's all good. Is he 26?
Yes.
So 15 years, 26, 36, 40, 41 or 42, whatever that is.
There has to be some
crazy.
option. There has to be options in this.
Oh, you know
contract.
he's gonna have so many opt-outs.
Yeah.
He's gonna have so
There has
many
to.
opt-outs. He's a Boris contract guy, Boris client. He's gonna have his opt-outs. There's no
So
way he's gonna last
so the
15
first year,
years.
then we're gonna have the opt out.
So Juan Soto to the Mets. Is that what you think, Emily? What are you thinking?
If he goes to the Mets, he's getting his payday regardless. I'm about to drop the hottest topic or the hottest opinion. I don't think he's worth 700 million. I do not think.
Wow.
I've seen that floating around. Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani can play 2 positions and he got 700 million. Juan Soto cannot play 2 positions. We're just gonna, he's great at what he does. Is it worth 700 million? Not to me. Maybe like a cool 4 to 5, anywhere in there. I would be like, okay, yeah, they want him. They wanted him bad. They paid him. But if he goes to the Mets, he's gonna get the money.
See,
that he
I feel
wants.
like a Trout contract. I feel like something similar to Trout's contract would be, I feel like, more reasonable, but it's not going to happen that way.
I do like where y'all heads are heading. I will have to disagree. I don't think he. I mean, he's kind of
Mm.
flirting with 700, but he's in the 600 to me. There's a guy you want to build your team around. And yes, Shohei Ohtani does play two positions, but when was the last time Shohei Ohtani pitched? It's been maybe a year, 2 years now. Plus, you
Wow.
don't
Wow.
you don't know too if he's gonna come back and he's gonna throw 100 with velocity like high as hell, and location wise, everything's just gonna go well for him. So
But I
that's
feel like
another.
with him, even if you get a 3 or a 4 starter, it's still you're saving money on another starter. He doesn't
I
have to
mean,
be an
yeah,
Exactly.
but
ace.
He
but
doesn't
that's
have
what
to
I'm
be
saying.
He
Like,
now.
just has to be
yeah,
serviceable.
he doesn't have to be
Yeah.
the ace, but I mean, he was with the he was the ace on the Angels. Of course, with the Dodgers, you're not. Could you be the
Night
ace? No, Yamamoto, Glass
Glass
now's there.
Snell.
Snell's the ace at this point. So I would
Hmm.
say that Otani could be the 3 or 4 guy in that
Exactly,
rotation.
and that's
But
still valuable.
yeah,
Exactly.
It's consistent.
And you're getting
but
him at the
like I
plate and
said,
he's
I
gonna
think
hit
he's
bombs.
Hmm.
and Juan Soto doesn't present that with his defense. I mean, the defense isn't really the best. I mean, he was a Gold Glove
Yeah.
finalist, but
Mm.
the kid's still young. He puts up great at bats. He's gonna take his team to the post. It just showed right there with the
Yeah, no
Yankees.
doubt.
It just
Like
showed right
700
there. So
million?
that's why I think
6, 7?
that's what I'm saying. Like I'll go 6. I'll go 6. We're flirting with 7, but I would say 6. I would say 650 at least.
Mm.
If I was gonna give him a contract, but for me, if I'm on Soto, I'm going to Boston. The future over there is
Ooh.
freaking bright.
Yeah.
They have 6 top 100 prospects. They're fairly still young. They just re-signed
Hmm.
Alex Cora to an extension. You got Rafael Devers, who's a superstar already there. Dominican presence with David Ortiz, Pedro Martinez. You're
Hmm.
setting your up
They were in
for
that meeting too.
success.
They were in the
Yes,
meeting to get him.
exactly. So you're setting yourself up for success in the future if you wanted to make it a priority with the future of a team that you want to sign for. Nothing against the Mets. Francisco
Mm.
Lindor, um, Mark Vientos is really good too, but their farm system. I mean, Luis Angel
Not good. Yeah.
Acuna, he's still a good player. I think Mauricio, if I'm not mistaken, that's his last name. I can't think of his name. Then you got Jet Williams, Drew Gilbert. You got all those type of guys. But if I had to choose between the farm system and the future, and let's say Boston gives them a contract just less than 5 million, like where the Mets are, I'm going Boston. No, I'm sorry. Their team is really good. And then not just that, I think it'll just leave a sour taste in Yankee fans' mouth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
regardless,
Wow.
Mets or
That's like a
Boston.
Yankees fan worst nightmare.
Mm-hmm. So I got to go Boston.
I don't know where he's going,
I feel
but
that. I feel
if he
that.
chases the money or if he chases championships.
Well, you're
Well,
young. You're going to get
he's already
paid.
won one though. He's won
Oh,
a
true,
ring.
with the
We forget he
Nats.
won with the
Yeah.
Nationals.
Yeah, of
Don't
course.
say
Yeah.
we forgot.
So
The Astros fans in the
Yeah.
room, we know very well.
Yeah.
Next guy. Who's next? Should I introduce one? You guys have introduced one.
go for it.
Go for it.
Okay, let me pull up the email. Sorry. I'm full screen right now.
You can do Pete
Ooh.
Alonso. You can talk Bregman. Since you're
Should we bring up Bregs now? All right. So one of the hottest players that's not Juan Soto is also hitting the free market in third baseman Alex Bregman. What do we think, guys?
Francisco, go ahead.
I was gonna say I was gonna defer to y'all because you guys are in Houston. I know Lorenzo, you cover the team on obviously more than I do, and Emily, you're basically Orbit's best friend.
So I can't talk about it. So technically,
Oh, that's true. All right, Lorenzo can though. Lorenzo can, but I will say this. I mean, just given like the teams, the Houston Astros have a good thing going. Yeah, their core is getting older, but it's still a team, and I think an owner who wants to win, and they still have a couple years of contention. If I was him, like he has a familiarity there. Why not just re-sign and then keep building for the future? Because I mean, he's what 31 years old. How old is he?
31. Yeah.
About 30, 31. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is gonna be his last big contract. Why not stay? Because I think because Rod and Jesus and Carlos Pena were talking about this. Like, there are some guys you just see like you just picture them as a forever like Astro or forever, whatever their team. I feel like him, Altuve, they're Astros for life. That's kind of how I see them. I know he's obviously loves playing there. The fans love him. So I think that I can see him still saying, signing there. I think they put out a contract, right? I think you had mentioned that, Lorenzo, in your last podcast that you do talking about the Astros.
So yeah, the latest contract, it was the same thing that Bob Nightingale had said earlier in the past weeks. 6 years, 156 million from Brian McTaggart. And in my opinion, I mean, it's a fair contract. It's a really good
Mm-hmm.
contract. You're getting 26 AAV a year. And for me, I don't think this will be the last contract that the Astros are going to present to him. There might be another contract that'll just go up in money value, not in years. I think the years are just going to stay right there at 6. But if I had to predict, I honestly do think that the Astros are going to be the team that he resigns with. Why I'm saying that is because family wise, everything's been in Houston. His family, his kid, his son Knox. I mean, everybody's here. Went to
Cool name.
school. Yeah, went to school at LSU down in Louisiana. Born and raised in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He's a Southern boy, so that's one
Mm.
particular reason. Of course, his wife, and like I mentioned, his son already. But another part is like you said, the fans, but the players in the clubhouse a lot really vocalize why they loved
Mhm.
Bregman, why he was a big contribution for pitchers, especially like Hunter Brown. Hunter Brown wasn't pitching really good in the beginning of the season. And then that second half, well, really in the middle part of that first half to the rest of the season, he looked like an ace pitcher. And one of the reasons
Mm.
why was because of Alex Bregman helping him out. I already heard about Jose
Yeah.
Altuve talking about Alex Bregman needs to be here. You know, he said he would even try to get him in a Nationals uniform to be for the rest of his life. And Altuve usually doesn't, in my opinion, I've never seen or hear him talk about another player like that. You know, from Correa, from Springer, from Cole, all those guys. I've never heard Altuve talk about another player like that. So that's why I think Bregman will be in the Nationals uniform come 25.
Yeah. I agree. I tend to agree. Let me tell you this, or let me ask both of you this. The Giants swing and miss so often when it comes to big free agents, right? They try to get Shohei, they failed. They got Arson Judge, they couldn't get Aaron Judge a few years ago. Um, but I know that they're always trying to get a big name contract or a big market. I know they want to keep adding to their talent. Of the guys that are available, Juan Soto is not going to San Francisco. Who do you think might go? I've heard maybe Pete Alonso. I don't know about that. Maybe Teoscar Hernandez. And I actually also want to preface this by saying the Blue Jays. They're also a team that has swung and missed in the last couple of years. Do they bring back Teoscar Hernandez? I mean, I'm sure they wish they had him last year. Who do you think are those two teams might sign? I know they're going to get one of these guys. They're going to get a free agent. And if not a big name free agent, they're going to get that like second tier level of free agent because those owners want to win.
Well, I would say Willie Adames is a good name to put yourself in, put it on that left side. Just think about having
Mm-hmm.
Chapman and him on that left side. It's going to be, gosh, defensively he's really good. Offensively,
Yeah.
the numbers are really well. So I would
Yeah.
say Adames could be a great fit. Another sneaky one, I think, that you were talking about this second tier is Hassan Kim. Chapman
Mm.
had talked about if if I have to move to shortstop, I will move to
Yeah.
shortstop permanently. And Hassan Kim has played around the whole infield, third base and second base. I think more than anything, he's played some short as well. But yeah, even Hassan Kim's another good name. He'll be still on the West Coast, not too far from San Diego, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe like what 6-7 hour drive. So those two names
Yeah.
that really catch my eye.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say same
Chapman,
with Kim.
he grew up as a shortstop. Chapman grew up as a shortstop, obviously, because in high school, Nolan Arenado was their third baseman, or
Yeah,
vice versa. They both were shortstops at one point. So he can easily move to shortstop. He's obviously one of the best third basemen like in the last 25 years defensively. Multiple platinum gloves, multiple gold gloves. He's elite. Yeah, he can definitely move. Good for him though for saying that, because I feel like some people will be like, "No, this is my spot. Like I'm not
yeah.
moving." But what about the Blue Jays? Or Emily, do you want to maybe add a different name?
No, I was just gonna say the same thing with Kim. Like those teams, like do all teams really need to be big splash teams? You know what I mean? Sometimes you can just move in silence, and maybe that's what they're trying to do. But I know that Teoscar Hernandez, there was rumors of him maybe going back to the Dodgers, so I wouldn't really
I
mark him
saw
as a
that.
Blue
Yeah,
Jay, you know? And then if you think about it, they've got some pretty good pieces in return from that Astros trade. You've got Jake Bloss, Wagner, Loperfido. So do you just continue to build your team with small minor moves, like not necessarily trades, but like, small
not if
pickups
you're the Blue
there?
Jays. Not if you're the
Really?
Blue
Mm-mm.
Jays. Nope. The
You're
Blue
gonna be.
Jays. No.
I
No.
honestly,
You
in my opinion, I think they're gonna lose Bo Bichette and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. when their
Yeah.
contracts end this year, unless they
you
do something at the
Yeah.
you
deadline
think?
or before the season. I
And their
do
owner,
honestly
yeah,
think that.
their owner has said they want to keep them, but the chances of them keeping them, I don't think they'll keep
At
all
least
three of
both
those
of them.
guys. Like,
Yeah,
there's no way.
yeah.
Yeah.
If anything, one of them, but both of them,
Yeah.
I just don't see them being in Toronto.
Yeah.
So like again, they're not big splash teams. And that's why you're not making big
Well, the Blue
splashes
Jays are
and
big. Or the Blue Jays are a big market team, though. They probably have the most money to spend.
I mean like
Like their
signing
contract
wise,
to
like
Aaron.
when you're like announce your signing,
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh, like that's amazing." Like not like
Th-
necessarily
th-
like they're not
to
going
remind y'all,
to.
this is a team that had gotten a plane for Shohei Ohtani to go to Toronto. If you remember
Hmm.
last free agency,
That he
so
wasn't
I mean they
on.
have the
He
money. Yeah,
was he
he
not
wasn't.
on
He
the flight?
wasn't.
He was not on the flight.
I mean, he could have. He could have. But he's
You
like,
never
nah, I
know.
think I'm gonna just stay in L.A. Just 45 minutes from Anaheim. He just wanted to rent a U-Haul truck instead of getting
Right?
all that
The whole
on the
PJ
airplane.
going international. And that's another aspect of it. Like, do these players want to go international?
That's true.
We need a team in Mexico.
Toronto is a beautiful city, though. Like
No,
I've talked to
absolutely.
players and I've asked them like some of their favorite cities to play in. All the time, Toronto is one of their favorite stadiums or favorite cities to visit. And it's not like it's way out of the blue. You're a couple hours from Detroit, you're a couple hours from Milwaukee, you're a couple hours from Chicago. Even it's not like it's terribly far, but still, I to your point, I understand that. I get that. Let's do a quick rapid fire. We'll start with Corbin Burns. Where do you think he's going?
Orioles.
Baltimore, I think he's staying.
I agree. The Orioles have to keep him. I agree he's going to be there. Max Fried. I heard Dodgers might be looking. I don't know.
I say Red Sox.
I was gonna say he gives me Red Sox vibes.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
Red Sox.
Jack Flaherty. I know also the Dodgers. I feel like the Dodgers are attached to everybody, but Jack Flaherty, where do you think he's going? LA?
I think he stays in LA.
Is that? Yeah. All right.
He
I
loved
think
it
that'd be
here.
cool.
Alonzo, the polar bear.
I
I
think-
think he's going to the Giants.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I
I
was
think
gonna
he's
say
San
he stays in
Francisco.
I
Met.
think so.
He will launch balls into the ocean,
McCovey Cove.
the Bay Area. McCovey Cove. He will splash.
agree.
Christian Walker. Where do you think he's going?
Astros.
Man, that's a tough one. I'll say Yankees.
Astros?
I say Yankees though.
I say Astros.
I feel like if the Yankees miss out on Soto, they're going to get a couple pieces. I think Adames will be one of them that they're going to be interested in.
Mhm.
Again, also Christian Walker, he's something they might be interested in. Teoscar Hernandez, we talked about him. He might go back to the Dodgers.
Dodgers.
Maybe the Blue Jays might be like, we want him back. Gleyber Torres. It's Gleyber Day. Such a cool name. Or
Man,
saying.
I got two teams, and it's either Pittsburgh or Seattle, and they fit really well for both. I would say.
I feel like he might be a late pickup by the Yankees. They're like, all right, I guess he can come.
We want you back.
Yeah, that's what it feels like to me.
Well, we do have winter meetings coming up. I've always enjoyed those. I love minor league talk. Like the Rule 5 draft is something I'm super interested in all the time. I always watch that or listen to that draft. So I'm excited about that. I know Jesus will be there. We'll hear more about that from him, and you always check that out on ouresquina.com.